Well, as we've heard from President Biden, he's really been making overtures, trying to use as diplomatic language as possible. Of course, at his closing press conference after the NATO summit, he called President Putin bright, someone who is, quote, a worthy adversary. So certainly he's going into this to try and find areas where these two powers can work together. And one of them will be the item that was really at the top of the agenda, even at the G7. Of course, that used to be the G8 when Russia was a part of it before it went and occupied part of Crimea. But the G7 top of the agenda, climate change. That's going to be one of the big issues between Biden and Putin. The other one being arms control. One of Biden's first foreign policy actions in his term this year was to renew the START treaty for another 5 years. He came under a lot of fire for that. That treaty doesn't cover a lot of the new advanced technology, things like the space race. And so Biden wants to potentially work out a new agreement with Putin on that. And the other one is something that President Putin brought up in that exclusive NBC News interview. He said he would be open to a prisoner swap with the United States. There are several high-profile prisoners on both sides. For the Americans, it's Trevor Reed and Paul Whelan. Their families have very much been urging the president to act on this. And remember, it's generally very popular and and a strong move, an impactful move for the president to come back from a summit saying he's secured something to bring Americans back home. President Biden specifically said he essentially wanted to avoid that kind of circus. In fact, there was an official at the time working on the Russia file who accompanied President Trump to that press conference and at one point said she wanted to feign a medical emergency just to bring that press conference to a stop. Joe Biden wants to make sure that essentially journalist questions don't put him on the spot or embarrass President Putin. So what they're going to do instead is just have two separate press conferences. We know President Putin will go first. That will then be followed by President Biden's press conference. That then avoids, according to the White House, any sort of over-analyzing of perhaps body language. Did they look at each other eye to eye? How did they shake hands? Did they shake hands at all? So Biden wants to really avoid that kind of talk and focus more on substance.
Well, Mr. President, dear Joe, we are so pleased to welcome you in Brussels. You are back in Brussels, and America is back on the global scene. It's great news. It's great news for our alliance. It's also great news for the world, and we are really delighted to work with you in order to tackle together some important global challenges.
Well, I think we have a great opportunity to work both the EU as well as NATO, and we're feeling very good about it. We found the reception to be good, and in America, in fact, we are committed. We have never fully left, but we're reasserting the fact that it's overwhelming the interest of the United States of America to have a great relationship with NATO and with the EU. I have a very different view than my predecessor did. So I'm looking forward to talking to you all about what we're about to do, and I'm anxious to be here.
And a very warm welcome from my part too. What a pleasure to have you here. What an honor to have you here. So the fact that you're coming so early in your mandate, I think, underlines your personal attachment to Europe, and we really appreciate that. And indeed, the last 4 years have not been easy. The world has dramatically changed. Europe has changed, but we wanted to reassure you, your friends and allies, and we are very much looking forward to working together. So very welcome.
Well, we have great opportunities to take advantage of the change. Thank you.
Mr. President, did you agree on a Turkish presence in Afghanistan?
Agree on a what?
Turkish presence in Afghanistan after you met with Mr. Erdogan yesterday.
Did I agree on a Turkish?
Did you discuss or agree on any kind of Turkish presence in Afghanistan after your
we had long discussions, and I feel very good about our meeting. I'll let the Turks tell you that.
Belgian chocolate. The Belgian chocolate.
Go ahead.